One morning, Duncan was waiting at the station when Donald steamed in. "Good morning, laddie." "Good morning." The passengers got out of Donald's train and began climbing into Duncan's coaches. All day, Donald had been thinking about racing. "Do you little engines ever have races?" Duncan thought for a moment. "No, not really. Why do you ask?" "Well, I was just thinking. Not too long ago, me and Dougie had a race. It was a lot of fun, and I was wondering if you little guys have races too." "We can't have races. Our railway is mostly a single line. We can't race side by side." "Oh, but you can still have races." "How so?" But before Donald could reply, the guard blew his whistle, the signal turned green, and he had to leave. "I'll tell you later." Duncan wasn't patient and wanted to know how the railway could have races. Later that day, Duncan talked to the other engines at the sheds. "Ooh, that sounds like fun. But how do we do it?" "I'm not sure, but Donald says there's a way." Just then Douglas steamed by and stopped at a red signal. "Donald, could you finish telling me about how to have races on our railway?" "I'm not Donald, I'm Douglas. And what's all this about races? Is Donald telling stories again?" "Yes, he has. He says you and him once had a race, and that we could have ones on our railway too, even though we only have single track. Do you know how we could do it?" "You could time yourself for each time, and try and see who gets the best time." "I guess that would work. It just wouldn't be as fun." Duke, however, didn't like the idea. "It's dangerous. We could have an accident." "Don't be such a fusspot, Grandpa." Duke glared at Peter Sam. "I have an idea. Why don't we take turns pulling the first train of the day, and we can compare the times of that? We'll have our drivers keep track of times and everything." "Good idea." So the engines talked with their drivers and everything was set. They made the decision of who would get to go first. Sir Handel, then Duncan, Peter Sam, Skarloey, Rusty, and then Rheneas. Duke was still against the racing. One morning, some of the engines waited at the big station, and the rest of the engines at Lakeside. Sir Handel was coupled up to the coaches, and he waited impatiently. "Come on, come on!" Finally he could go. He started with a roar as he hurried out of the station. Sir Handel hurried down the line. "Faster, faster!" "You'll burst your safety valve," his driver warned him. Sir Handel tried to go fast, but his driver slowed him down. He was still having a good time, though. Sir Handel raced past Duke at a station. "Bye-bye, Grandpa." Duke thought it was ridiculous. Sir Handel soon arrived at the lakeside. The engines cheered for him. "Good job!" The driver recorded Sir Handel's time in a notebook. Sir Handel was worried that he hadn't been able to go as fast as he could have. He was worried that his time might be beaten. That night he told the other engines what he thought. Duncan knew now that he could beat Sir Handel easily. He was excited for tomorrow. The next day Duncan backed down onto the coaches. He was determined to win. Soon he heard a whistle and set off, but he had forgotten his coaches. Duncan had to stop and had to go back to get coupled up. Once everything was ready, he huffed away. Duncan raced down the line as fast as he could. "I can do it! I can do it!" His driver noticed that Duncan was going too fast and that Duncan had too much steam. But his driver was just like Duncan and wanted to win as well, so he let Duncan go faster. Suddenly Duncan began to go slower. His driver begrudgingly had to stop the train. "I can't pull it. Why do I feel so weak?" The driver explained to him that he had gone too fast and burst his safety valve. Duncan had lost the race. Rheneas soon arrived and pulled Duncan and his train to the lakeside station. Afterwards, Rheneas pulled Duncan back to the sheds. That night, the engines concluded to have no more races. Finally, all of you had gotten back to your senses. The other engines just ignored him. They wished that they could still race, but it was causing too many problems. However, Sir Handel was still happy. It looks like I'm going to hold the record for the fastest engine for a long time, he told the other engines. They rolled their eyes, but couldn't help but smile.
Hello, I'm Trevor the Traction Engine. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to subscribe for more Thomas and Friends videos. You can also check out more videos on our YouTube channel by clicking the Visit Channel button. If you want to learn more about the up-and-coming latest adventures from Sodor, and to find out about the latest updates, then click the News Blog button. You can also check out the Google Plus and our Facebook page by clicking a link in the description. We hope to see you again soon. Come back often for more videos.